StrayAllDay.com.
You're now tuned into the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve has yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative. That is the go-getter energy that moves any one of us, including yourself, to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. And then we put all this together into a series of frameworks, approaches, insights, strategies, and techniques all underneath the umbrella of one unified philosophy that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. And today's topic is artificial intelligence. All y'all familiar with this. I've been talking about it a lot. Artificial intelligence is your employee. It is not your boss. It is not your supervisor. I'm going to explain to you exactly what that means here today. So this episode is coming from an interesting discussion I was having during the commentary / Q&A period that I have every time that I do my live streams. Those happen again Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. Eastern to 10 a.m. Eastern, usually in the first hour, 8 to 9. I am sharing my position on a certain subject, and then from 9 to 10, I open the floor up for discussion for me to basically read comments from the live audience and respond to what people are saying in the commentary. So what happened in one of my morning live streams, there were some people disagreeing with me on my position on a certain subject. I don't even remember what the topic was, but it's irrelevant. And some people were disagreeing with me. And during that conversation, I had made some points and I said, well, hey, I had referenced ChatGPT for a couple of detailed points. I think I had been talking about something about politics, and I said, well, such and such politician has been in politics for X number of years. Let me check how many years this person's been in politics. And I looked it up on ChatGPT and said, how many years this person's been in politics? And it gave me the data. And I had been reading it off and said, well, according to ChatGPT, this person was in politics this long. So I was just using it to buttress my point. And some people who were disagreeing with some other thing that I said in the same discussion, they were saying, well, hey, since you used ChatGPT for one of your earlier points, that means you should refer to ChatGPT to verify my counterpoint, whoever was throwing something out in the comments. They said, well, you use ChatGPT for your point. Why don't you use ChatGPT to verify my point and what I'm saying, after I had already disagreed with them without referencing any resources. And I explained to them what I'm going to explain to you here today. And it's a bigger picture than just that, okay? Which is artificial intelligence, ladies and gentlemen, is a software tool. Our artificial intelligence itself is a tool, okay? It is not your boss. And there's a big difference between a tool and a boss, because the tool gets used and a boss does the using. So what that means is what I'm going to explain here in today's episode. Let's get into it. Point number one. Today's topic, once again, artificial intelligence is your employee, not your boss. Number one, you use AI as necessary and not use it when it's not necessary. Again, the same way that if you have somebody working for you, you tell them what tasks you would like them to complete, how you want it done, etc. And when you don't want them involved in something, then they are not in the conversation. Simple as that. If you have a maintenance man, for example, I'll give you an example. I remember I was back from one of my early playing stints, playing professional basketball, and I was looking for a job. And I went to a gym. I was looking for a job selling gym memberships because I'd done very well with that. And I couldn't get hired back to the places that I had been. But I went to another gym that was in downtown Philadelphia, and I applied. And a woman said to me, we don't really have any sales positions open, but if something opens up, I'll let you know. I followed up with the woman anyway, and she said, yeah, we still don't have any sales positions, sir, but we do have a position for a maintenance position. Like the person who goes around and cleans up the bathrooms and the toilets and shit like that. And there was no way I was taking that job, so I didn't take the job. I'm saying that to say this, that me being the maintenance man, had I taken that job as the maintenance man at that gym, I would not be involved in sales conversations. I'd be involved in, hey, clean up that shit in the toilet on the second floor. All right, that'd be my job. Why? Because that's the job that I was hired for. Artificial intelligence is exactly the same thing. Now, it may have more abilities than the maintenance man cleaning up a toilet, but it is hired for a specific job, and that's all that it does. Just because something is good for one job does not mean it's good for another job. And you use AI as a resource, but not the final determining arbiter of what you do or what you do not do, what you believe or what you do not believe. Thinking, ladies and gentlemen, requires effort. Not just typing and searching on Google or in a chatbot. All right. Artificial intelligence cannot think for you. It can offer you more material upon what you think. If you say, hey, can you tell me how long this person has been in politics? It can give you the answer, but that doesn't mean it's going to tell you what that means about this person. So my point had been, hey, a lot of politicians are in politics for all these years and they get nothing done. That was one of the things I was talking about. Let me give you an example. This politician has been in politics for 50 years. And I was using that to buttress my position that I already had. I was using it to support my point, not to make my point. That's the difference with AI. Again, you use it to support what you want to do, not to tell you what to do or decide for you how things are supposed to go. Because as soon as you let AI do that, well, why do we need you? Again, do not forget this point, okay? One thing you need to remember about the internet, regardless of how easy it appears to make things or how easy technology appears to make things for you, it cannot think for you. It cannot replace your brain. When you get to the point of artificial intelligence replacing your human thought process, you become a replaceable individual and you will be replaced. And that sounds like a figure of speech, but ladies and gentlemen, understand this is becoming a more real thing by the day, that you are going to be replaced to the point that your presence is not necessary. People are being replaced at work already. Soon you're going to get replaced in your everyday life if you are no longer providing value. I just saw this video of Mark Zuckerberg talking about creating AI companions for people, like an AI boyfriend or an AI girlfriend. All right, that's the next step. Now they're going into your personal life. They're starting with your job. Next they're going into your personal life. All right, you think you're lonely now. Okay, this is what's coming, folks. If you can't think for yourself, what do we need you for? AI can think faster than you if it knows what to think. But the thing is, you know what to think in ways that AI ain't quite there yet. But if you don't put yourself in a position to actually use it, then again, you become replaceable and you will be replaced. If you are not providing value, you will be replaced in this life that we live in right now today. The only value a human being can produce that AI cannot quite produce and will never be able to produce is the ability to think like a human being. Okay? Understand the A in AI, you know what it stands for? Artificial intelligence, not human intelligence, artificial intelligence. Your human intelligence cannot be replicated if you are using your human intelligence. If you're not using your human intelligence, then your lack of intelligence can easily be replaced by artificial is better than no intelligence, but human is better than artificial. So you got human intelligence, level 1, artificial intelligence, level 2, no intelligence, level 3. Many of you are operating at level 3 of no intelligence because you're not thinking for yourself because you're like, oh, well, AI can think for me. So let me just plug it into Google or fucking ChatGPT and it'll solve all my problems. No, no, no. You solve the problem and you just ask ChatGPT to help you out. ChatGPT is your personal assistant. It is not the boss. You're not its assistant. It's your assistant. You understand? So once you stop using your human intelligence, you become unnecessary and you'll be replaced by Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, ChatGPT, and everybody else who's working on ways of getting rid of you. And again, this is not a figure of speech. They're literally working on ways of getting rid of you. Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is artificial intelligence is your assistant, is not your boss. Number 2. AI is designed based on the aggregated information grabbed from the internet. This is what I was explaining to the fools in my chat during my live stream. They say, well, hey, this AI is a reputable resource for whatever is being said. And I said, idiots, do you know where AI comes from? Do you know what AI is? And I'll say, ask all of you that. I'm not calling you all idiots, but do you know where AI comes from? AI, all it did was go on the internet. It scraped all the information off the internet. And it organized it in such a way that it can very quickly retrieve information and spit it back to you based on whatever you ask. Basically, it's an advanced form of Googling. Took what Google started and Google walked so AI could run, if you follow that metaphor. All the information that is on the internet was scraped by, let's say, a ChatGPT or any other AI chatbot. That's where it got its information from. Let me ask you a question. How did the information on the internet get there? Who put it there? We did. All the information that ChatGPT has or any other AI bot is simply an amalgamation of all the stuff that you and I have published and put on the internet over the last, let's just say, 30 years. That's all chatbots are. They just grabbed all the information that we made and it amalgamated it and it decides what it wants to believe and then it tells you what it knows to the best of its knowledge. So what a chatbot says is no more credible than what Google says, no more credible than what your next door neighbor says necessarily. Now, you may trust one more than the other because it gives you more sources and it sounds better and it has looked into more places before it came to its conclusion. But again, just because it's said by one source does not necessarily mean that it's true, nor does it mean you must accept it. You don't have to accept anything you don't want to accept these days. This is the reason why we're in the information war, is that we don't have an arbiter of truth and we do not need to agree on facts. We don't need to agree on a certain set of facts, excuse me. So these days they say misinformation is someone is going against a certain set of accepted facts. There is no set of accepted facts. So the concept of misinformation is a misnomer because there's no set of accepted facts that we all have to agree to. What are they? And who made them? Who's the judge? Who's the judge of this set of accepted facts that we all have to agree to? Please tell me who that judge is because I don't know who they are. Any of you know who it is? I don't know who they are. So just this morning, I got suspended on TikTok for the 10th time in 10 months. For what? Misinformation, allegedly, misinformation. And what TikTok says when you get suspended for misinformation is that though we want our creators to share their opinions, we must agree on a set of accepted facts on certain subjects. You have violated that, and for that, you've been suspended. Now, I appealed my suspension, and I won the suspension. I won the appeal in literally 6 minutes. Literally 6 minutes. I won the appeal. But the fact that they even have a misinformation community guideline is bullshit, because the misinformation concept is based on there is a certain set of accepted facts that we all must abide by. What are those facts, and who is the judge? Who is the gatekeeper of these facts? I want to know what they are, and I want to know who's in charge. I want to speak to that person who's in charge of these accepted facts, because I didn't know there was somebody. If you know who they are, please give me their name. Say their name. Send me a direct message or send me an email. My email is dre@dreallday.com, and tell me that person's name, who is the arbiter and judge of all the accepted facts that we have to operate by, because I didn't know there was a set. Where is that set? Where can I find it? I want to read that book. The accepted facts we got to go off of. The point is, folks, artificial intelligence is simply gathering all the quote unquote facts that we have created, and it's just spitting them back to you based on what you ask it. That's what artificial intelligence is. That's why it's artificial. Okay? That's why it's artificial. Humans can think in ways that artificial intelligence cannot think yet. Information ends up on the internet because we put it out, which means AI is just a combination of all the stuff we ever said. It spits it back to us quickly and effectively, so it's faster than we are, but it can't think in ways that we can think. Because if it could, then what do we need us for? AI itself is not an arbiter of truth, nor is it an arbiter of facts, nor is it the decision maker for what you should or need to believe. Unfortunately, too many humans are starting to believe that that is the case when it's not. Here's where a lot of people mess up. A lot of people go on Google or ChatGPT or anywhere else, and based on what that resource tells them, they assume and will even go as far as to assert that what they were told there must be accepted as truth. False. And again, I'm telling you this as someone who uses ChatGPT. I probably use it more than most of you. I use it. I want you to understand my language. Pay attention to my words. I use ChatGPT. It does not use me. I use it. So I ask it a question. It gives me the information that it gives me. There's been more than one time. Any of you who's a thinking individual, if you use ChatGPT often enough, there should have been a time, more than once, where you asked ChatGPT a question and it gave you some information and you had to tell it, that's not true. What you just told me is not true. I remember I was asking something about somebody, and I was asking the question that said, these 3 people are married to men, or these 3 people are married to women. And I looked it up and I said, this person's not married to a woman. What are you talking about? And then it said, oh, I'm sorry, you're correct. Thank you for checking me on that. And they sometimes have information wrong. They don't even know what they're talking about. But again, if you're not thinking, you're going to believe whatever you heard on social media or whatever you got told on Google or on ChatGPT. You have to be able to think for yourself, ladies and gentlemen. AI cannot think for you. So it's bullshit when you go assert something that you heard on the internet, again, which comes from a person. Anybody can say anything they want on the internet, folks. This is the reason why we're in an information war. Anyone can create quote unquote information at the snap of a fucking finger. Doesn't mean it is true. Nor does it mean you should accept it. It betrays a lack of human thought, a lack of discernment, and is more proof of why most human beings are set to be replaced. A bunch of people are going to be replaced because a lot of people don't think. I told you 3 truths about human beings. People are lazy, they don't read, and they don't think. And because people don't think, they are quickly going to be replaced by artificial intelligence, which at least does more thinking than the average person. So I understand. Now, while I do encourage you to leverage software like chatbots and search engines, again, I told you I use this stuff all the time to help your thinking process. That's what they're there to do, to help the thinking process. They are the help. They are not there to replace you. They're not there to be a proxy for your thinking. Whatever AI tells me or Google tells me, I'm still responsible as to whether or not I choose to accept it and believe it as accurate, and I choose to act on it. That's my choice. And if I choose to act on something that's not true just because it came from Google or AI, that's my fault. That's not their fault. That's my fault. I can't take ChatGPT or the Google search platform to court for forcing me to believe something that ended up being false. It tells you when you first sign up for ChatGPT, understand I am a bot and I'm going off the information I got off the internet. You still need to fact check anything that I say to make sure it's accurate before you go running with it. It tells you that up front. When you check the terms and conditions, that's what it's telling you. Just because I said it does not mean it's true. Yet people operate off it based on, oh, well, it must be true because that's what it said. Or the false idea that because some person referenced it once, that anything they say has to go against it. I told you about this several episodes back when I told you about the ChatGPT podcast host. This is the person who I was on their show. We recorded an episode for their show. They didn't put it out yet, and they never ended up putting an episode out. This was last summer. And they started following me on social media, disagreed with some things I said on social media, and then they came to me and said, well, hey, I took some of your posts from social media and ran it through ChatGPT to see what ChatGPT thinks about it, and I wanted to show you what ChatGPT said, just so you know that I'm trying to be objective. And I said, bitch, I don't give a fuck what ChatGPT said about what I said on social media. If you don't understand the context of what I was saying and why I was saying it the way I was, ChatGPT can't understand that, and you are a fucking idiot for even running through ChatGPT and sending it to me in the first place, as if that means I'm supposed to listen to it just because you got it from ChatGPT. Are you fucking stupid? And this was a successful business owner, this woman. And let me see if I can remember what episode that was. Because I don't remember what I titled it. But this is the kind of idiot shit that people go off of these days when they don't know how to think. And I don't know if I can remember what episode that was. That person, I can't remember what exactly I titled it. It was, man, I can't remember what it was. Let me see if I can find it. Because that was an episode that I want you all to really understand the context. Where is it? See if I can find it. That was episode number, I think it was somewhere here. Give me 1 second while I look this up. And anyway, while I'm looking this up, I can't take them to court for forcing me to believe what I chose to believe. I'm still a fool for accepting it. All right. And everybody has to take ownership of that. I told you all about that again in this episode. This person who decided to not run the episode because they didn't agree with something that I said on my show. And no, it's not this episode. Let me see if it's in here. I think I know where to find it, but let me try one more time. No, not this one. And there's one more place I'm going to look, and I think I've narrowed it down to where it is. I'll tell you about that in a second. So as I told you, we recorded something. She disagreed with me. She comes and uses ChatGPT as a way of saying, well, hey, you should listen because ChatGPT said it. Like, bitch, I ain't got to listen to shit. And again, this is the idiocy of people who don't know how to think. And I think it's in here, but let me see if I can find it. And where is it? Yes, here it is. Give advice only if. That was the name of the episode. Let me tell what episode that was. That was episode number 3102. Give advice only if. Where I was explaining this and explaining the idiocy of this woman who tried to tell me what ChatGPT had to say. And again, this woman was a successful business owner. She wasn't some idiot off the street, which is more proof that all levels of people are falling victim to this level of idiocy. Even smart and successful people can be stupid because most people do not think. When they want to make a point, instead of thinking, they go to the internet and let the internet tell them how to present their argument because they don't know how to formulate an argument. This woman was very guilty of that. Smart woman, generally speaking. Again, as they say, a fish is a genius in water. Put it on the sand, not so much. So when she got on the sand, she exposed how a smart person can also be stupid. Again, just make sure you're not one of them. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is AI is your tool. It is not your boss. Number 3. As is the title of this episode, you must learn how to use AI and use automations as staff members, i.e. they work for you, not let them use you, i.e. you work for them. And many of you are right now in the transition of being turned into staff members rather than being bosses. If you're going to be a boss, that means you use tools and you have command of them. You tell them what to do and you tell them what not to do. When you use a chatbot, I was just talking to one of my coaching clients in Work on Your Game University about this very thing. That when you train your chatbot, like when I trained Dre GPT, which is my online chatbot, which you can access for free by going to dreallday.com/AI or workonyourgame.com/AI, either one. You train it and tell it exactly how to talk. You train it what language to use. You train it on how to respond to people. You train it on its tone, how it talks back to people, and how you want it to respond. Do you want it to direct it to certain things? Do you want it to answer certain questions or not answer certain things? You train it on exactly how to behave. That's how you use AI. You tell it how you want it to work and you tell it how you don't want it to work. But if you don't do this and you just use it however it comes out of the box, it's going to start telling you what to do. Again, so which one are you? Are you an employee or a boss? When you're using AI, you're the boss. That means you tell it what to do. Do not abdicate the responsibility of making decisions. Do not abdicate the responsibility of thinking for yourself and having discernment and personal judgment and deciding which direction to go just because AI seems to be making things easier for you. It's supposed to make things easier, but it's making things easier based on the results, not the results, but the rules and directions that you give it. If you don't give it rules and directions, it will start directing you. Understand that every organization must have a boss. So if you're working with AI and you're not bossing it, it will start bossing you without you even realizing what happened. Remember what I told you about human beings. Most people don't think, they don't read, and they're lazy. Artificial intelligence makes it easy for people to not think, to not read, and to be even lazier than they already are. Artificial intelligence is making people dumber when people think is making them smarter because they have access to quote unquote information. The problem is, what information are you accessing, and do you even know if it's accurate? Are you even checking the information to make sure, does this even make sense what this person is, what this AI is even telling me? Most people don't even ask themselves that question. So you're just accepting whatever it told you. Understand, it's coming from the internet. What's on the internet? Stuff that people say. Is everything on the internet true? Again, folks, think. You don't think, you don't read, you're lazy, you will be replaced these days. It was funny 6 years ago when I first made that point. It ain't funny now. Because now you're about to really be replaced. It wasn't even 6 years ago. It was probably like 9 years ago when I made this point. Maybe 8. That people don't think, they don't read, and they're lazy. Oh, it's getting worse now. Your job is not to follow the trend or follow what most people go into the abyss of nothingness. That's where most people are headed because life has made it easier and easier to do this. They're going to render themselves irrelevant and useless. Your job is just not join them. Okay? And what I'm sharing here, I don't think I said this at the beginning. This is the first part of a 2-part series. So tomorrow we're going to go into more of this. But let me first recap today's episode, which is part 1 of our part 2 mini series, which is artificial intelligence is not your boss. It is your employee. Point number 1. You use AI as necessary and not use it when it's not necessary. Again, just because something is good for one job does not mean it's good for another. You don't use a hammer for every task. You use it when you need to bang in a nail. You don't use it when you need to screw in a screw. Number 2, artificial intelligence is designed based on aggregated information grabbed from what? The internet. Who puts information on the internet? We do. Do you believe everything that other people say? No? Okay, then you shouldn't believe everything AI says because guess where it came from? The internet. And guess where that came from? Us. Think, folks. Think. Number 3. The title of this episode says you must learn how to use AI and automation as your employees, not let them use you as your bosses. Again, you use tools because you have command in them. You tell them what to do. Do not abdicate your responsibility to think, to read, and use your brain. If you stop doing that, AI will notice it and it will line you up as the next one to be replaced because AI is looking to replace people, and the people who are running the AI will gladly replace you and not give a damn about what happens to you in the process. Don't help them. All that said, tomorrow we're going to go into part 2 of this series. And between now and then, make sure you go use my free chatbot, Dre GPT 1.0 at dreallday.com/AI, and go to workonyourgameuniversity.com so that you are thinking, reading, and being smart about how you use things. I will show you how to leverage AI in your business so you can get more things done faster, quicker, more effectively, and more productively. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com and we'll talk about how we can take the next step. Work on your game. Dre all